Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Ouroboros Tarot, and today we're going to be doing a reading that I've never done before. I'm really excited, and basically we're going to be asking for messages from your inner child. I've already recorded your readings, and these are the oracle cards that I pulled for them. And I just wanted to offer a trigger warning. There was lots of different readings today, and if there's anything dark that you know of that you're still working on and healing, and you're not really ready to navigate that or hear about it, something that could potentially be triggering is this reading, and maybe today isn't the day that you pick one of these piles. But I really enjoyed doing this, and I think that there's some really good messages in these piles for you today. So let's go ahead and get started. We have 4 piles to choose from. We have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Take as much time as you need to decide which pile sits right with your energy, and I will see you in a minute. Hello, pile 2. Pile 2, oh my gosh, this is the first pile I'm even recording. And I've already messed it up. Hello, pile 1. Today we are going to be asking your inner child what messages that they have for you. So what I've decided to do to go about this reading is I've decided to pull cards, and these cards represent how your inner child sees the adult you. And I'm also going to pull tarot, and the spread that I'm going to use is essentially what it is that your inner child feels as though you need less of in your life, or you need to let go of in your life, what it is that your inner child feels as though you need more of, or you need to invite more of into your life, how your inner child feels as though you can be more compassionate to yourself, and then how your inner child feels as though you can be more compassionate to others. So those are the messages that we are going to get today. We'll go ahead and shuffle cards first, and then we'll read your oracles. Okay, pile 1. What does pile 1's inner child feel they need to let go of, they need less of? What does pile 1 need less of? Okay, we have the 3 of Swords. What does pile 1 need more of? Okay, we have the Knight of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups. How can pile 1 be more compassionate to themselves? We have the 9, that's too many. We're just going to take the top one, the 9 of Pentacles, and how can they be more compassionate to others? And we have the 4 of Wands. Okay, and then why is the 3 of Swords in this reading? Why is the 3 of Swords in this reading? Okay, we have the King of Pentacles. Why is the 9 of Pentacles in this reading? We have the Hierophant. And why is the 4 of Wands in this reading? Okay, we have the Ace of Cups. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. We have the King and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, let me just make sure that all of this is in shot really quickly before we get started. This is going to be a really interesting reading. I have not done anything like this before. So bear with me. It might get a little confusing, but I'm going to do my best. Okay, so pile 1. The oracle cards that were pulled for you guys are the Crone and the Destroyer. And what I sense from this is that your inner child sees you as somebody who is very, very wise and very evolved. So we have the maid, the mother, and then the crone. So this is somebody who is very evolved in the journey of that particular trifecta. I would say that they see you as somebody who is very wise, especially on the spiritual level. And they would say, for a lot of you, they might say that you are somebody who is rather isolated or lives a very solitary life. And this really comes down to you wanting to avoid superficiality and not really giving energy to more shallow types of connections, whether that's friendships or relationships of some kind. There's just a feeling of solitariness here. And really, when I look at all of these cards, every single card except for this Four of Wands is a solo card. There's only one person in the image, if there's a person at all. And I think that's fairly interesting. One thing also that the crone talks about specifically in this card is how they are the master of letting go and of accepting things the way that they are. And they don't do this in a judgmental way. They just let things be as they are. And I think that your inner child looks at you and is just kind of in awe and has a lot of respect for you and the wisdom you have gained throughout your life to the point in which you are here now. And we also have the Destroyer. And I'm going to go ahead and read to you the light attributes and the shadow attributes of this. So the light attributes are releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for new life. And I really do, it carries a lot of the same energy as the crone, in the sense of the crone being the master of letting go and just allowing things to be released when they need to, rather than clinging to them and really judging things or determining things are good and bad. They just are. They're neither good nor bad in the eyes of the crone. But if it's no longer serving the crone, it gets released. And then the shadow attributes are intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Okay, so that's basically what I'm seeing for you in terms of how your inner child views adult you. And I'm really getting a sense of admiration or of awe from this, just a sense of respect for the person that you have become. So down here in the tarot, we have the Three of Swords and the King of Pentacles. And this represents what it is that you need less of in your life. And what I'm really getting from this, and I'm picking up on this very heavily because we have counterpart energy here, and the Queen of Pentacles is the bottom of the deck energy. So this energy is encompassing the rest of this. I really feel as though this Queen of Pentacles represents who you are. You are the Queen of Pentacles, and I feel as though this King of Pentacles is some sort of counterpart of yours. This is some sort of person that has been in your life for a while, and this connection has caused immense amount of pain. It could be a romantic partnership. Pentacles also represent finances and things like that. So this could be a relationship with, a boss or a coworker, or perhaps even like a landlord. But with the Three of Swords here, this is heartache. This is suffering. And I think that your inner child is asking you to really stay in this crone and destroyer energy and really stay true to yourself and release this person or this negative cycle that's in your life right now that is causing you pain. And you know what this is. This is very heavy, prominent energy. So whatever this suffering is, for me, intuitively, I'm picking up on some sort of partnership it's time to be severed. But you know intuitively what this suffering is. And your inner child is acknowledging that it's not serving you, and you need much less of it in your life. And then for what you need more of in your life, we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. would say that one thing that your inner child would like to really acknowledge here is this, they're kind of nudging you in a sense to really allow yourself to dream a little bit, if that makes sense. Like with this crone here, one thing that it talks about obviously is like, you know, just not really passing judgment, but your inner child wants you to know that like it's okay to not always take a neutral stance, or like it's okay to not always just be in this solitary energy, you know, and I'm really picking up on your inner child wanting you to know that it's okay to take baby steps towards having more fun in your life, more lightheartedness in your life, and also inviting more people to your table. The imagery of this Nine of Cups is a person who is sitting with all of their cups here at the table, and they know that their friends, their family, their loved ones, the people that they've invited are going to be there. They're not necessarily waiting, you know, and that's, I think, the main idea of what it means to be a manifester, is to know that you already have it, to know what it feels like, what it tastes like, what it smells like, what it looks like, and you know all of this, and you know how that makes you feel, and you just sit in that feeling of good, and you just know it's already yours, rather than waiting and thinking about the things in which you're lacking. This person here is really just sitting in complete contentment and in complete peace, knowing that what it is that they want, they already have. It's just their birthright, you know. And I think another thing with the Knight of Pentacles here is that your inner child is saying that another thing that you need more of in life is acknowledging the things that you want, but also really practicing patience in this, and not taking life so seriously in the sense of like things need to happen on a timeline, and just letting things actually go with the flow. Like I feel like your inner child sees that you are somebody who is very, very good at going with the flow in terms of letting things go. But I don't necessarily know if you have mastered the same skill in the terms of going with the flow and allowing yourself to receive. And I think that your inner child would really like you to start allowing yourself to do that. You don't always have to just let things kind of blindly come, and if they work, they work, and if they don't, they don't, and that's all right. Although that's a beautiful energy to be in, this non-judgmental, non-attachment energy, but it's also okay to be very intentional with what you want and be in a state of flow in order to receive as well. And then we have here the Nine of Pentacles and the Hierophant for what it is that your inner child wants you to know about how you can show yourself more compassion. And it's very interesting because, again, we have another nine. We have another solitary image, right? And the Nine of Cups is all about abundance and wish fulfillment. And the Nine of Pentacles is all about abundance and fertility and sitting in your power, you know. And this woman here has carrots, and she's just taking as many carrots as she wants, again with this manifestor idea or belief that more carrots are going to come. They're already hers, and she's not going to be in some sort of scarcity mindset. She's going to sit in this garden in solitary if she needs to, but she is going to be completely content. And with the Hierophant right underneath it, one thing that came to my mind that I think is a message for some of you is that, how do I want to say this? Like, I want to say it, okay, so the Hierophant is all about, you know, learning and spiritual growth and doing things the right way. And the energy that I'm getting from this, intuitively what I feel is that for a lot of you, it feels strange to allow yourself to be abundant, whether that's like monetarily or perhaps in the house that you live in. It's something that you struggle with, allowing yourself to bask in your riches. And it might be because, you know, you see other people who are less fortunate than you, something like that. But what I'm getting from this is, in terms of showing yourself compassion, this idea that you have in terms of abundance and allowing yourself to be abundant really needs to be unlearned. You really need to unlearn this, and also understand that accepting your abundance, accepting the gifts that you've been given, accepting help from others, admitting that you need help, all of these things, whether it's accepting financial help from others, like say somebody wants to buy you a car, or somebody wants to help you out with your rent, or you are about to get a really, really big raise and you know, it's not something that you feel worthy of, something like that. Your inner child wants you to know that accepting help and accepting your riches, accepting the things that are given to you, whether it's just because someone simply loves you or whether it's because you followed the rules, whatever the reason, it's a form of self-love. And it's okay to have nice things. It's okay to ask for help, to accept help, to receive. It's okay. And I know that's something that is very difficult for a lot of people, but your inner child really wants to let you know that it's time to unlearn this in the name of self-love. And then over here we have the Four of Wands and the Ace of Cups. And this is how you can show others compassion. And what I'm getting from this is that your inner child just really is really asking you to keep your heart space open. You know, whatever's going on here with this Three of Swords, it could potentially really give you this desire to close off your heart space, to close your heart center, to protect yourself. And what I'm getting from this in terms of how you can show others compassion, how you can show the world compassion, is by going out into the world with a really fun, loving attitude. Honestly, what I'm getting from this Four of Wands and this Ace of Cups is that your inner child wants you to really tap into your inner child. And if you as a child had much more of a serious childhood, I think play here would be really important. However, this is the only card that we have that has multiple people in it, and it is in terms of how you can show other people compassion. And I think that this is your inner child telling you that it's time to open up your heart space and let others in, and go to others when needed. But pile one, this is what I'm seeing for you. This was very interesting for me. I've never done anything like this before. I would love to know if this resonated with you, and how it did in the comment section down below. If you would like to book a private reading with me, please feel free to email me at the email address I've provided in the description box. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to read cards for you. And hopefully I will have the opportunity again in the near future. Bye. Hi, pile two. So today we are asking how your inner child sees you and what messages that they have for you. So how I'm going to do this today is, with these oracle cards, this is essentially how your inner child sees you as adult you. I'm also going to pull tarot for your messages, and how we're going to do this is basically I'm going to pull cards for what it is that your inner child feels as though you need less of in your life, or what you need to let go of. I'm also going to pull cards on what you need more of according to them, as well as how you can show yourself more compassion, and then how you can show others more compassion. So let's just go ahead and get right on into it. So I'll shuffle the cards first. Okay, so this is what you need less of. We have the Devil. What do they need more of, according to Pile 2's inner child? Okay, we have the Queen of Cups. How can they show themselves more compassion? How can they show themselves more compassion? Okay, we've got the Seven of Swords and Temperance. And how can they show others more compassion? We have the Fool. Okay, why is the Devil here? We have the Tower. Why is the Queen of Cups here? Okay, we have the Page of Cups, and we also have the Three of Pentacles reversed. And why is the Fool here? We have Judgment, and on the bottom of the deck we have Death. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that all of this is in shot. This is the first time I've ever done a reading like this, and it's been really interesting. I enjoyed reading for the first pile. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with these oracles first. And you guys got the Hero, Heroine, and the Orphan. And I'm going to go ahead and read to you guys the light attributes and shadow attributes of this. So the light attributes are passion for a journey of personal empowerment. And the shadow attribute is escapism and a false sense of heroism. Okay, pile 2. Your inner child wants to thank you in a lot of ways. What I'm getting from this is that your childhood, the experiences that your inner child experienced, that you experienced as a child, were not the best. And that's all I'm going to say. But with this Orphan here, I'm really picking up on you really doing a lot of powerful healing throughout your adult life. And I would say that honestly, like, one of the things that this card talks about is just deep self-love and self-acceptance. And I know in therapy a lot of the times I've gone back to my inner child, and I've tried to give them what I couldn't give them when I was a child, or what other people didn't give me when I was a child. And I feel like your inner child is acknowledging the pain that you still hold, while at the same time they're thanking you for doing the hard work of healing. And they feel you holding them. They feel you holding their hand and taking them to what it is that they need. And I see it here too with this Hero, Heroine, with the light attribute of passion for a journey of personal empowerment. I'm really picking up on this. I feel as though your inner child sees you as somebody who is very introspective and really is not afraid of diving in and doing shadow work. And I do think that this shadow attribute is also something that your inner child notices about you in terms of escapism and a false sense of heroism. And I know, like, in terms of pain and hurting, a lot of the times escapism is a very common thing. And when we look down here for what it is that you need less of, we have the Devil and the Tower. I'm sensing just this very chaotic energy and very codependent energy with this Devil, very low vibrational energy that is almost a form of escapism, whether that's substance abuse or making connections with people that aren't actually all that deep, but are actually a form of self-harm. I'm seeing that here. I'm seeing a lot of self-harm that's very chaotic, and your inner child is really asking you to start working on this, to start letting a lot of this go, because it's not serving you in any way. It's harmful. What you need more of, this is interesting too. We have the Queen of Cups and the Page of Cups. What you need more of is one, to be really much more in touch with your higher self and your intuition, but also more in touch with your heart space. You need more genuine love. And I'm not talking like romantic love, although that could be something that you are searching for, that is something that you really want. But I think self-love, and also just that universal, high vibrational, omnipresent love that we can tap into at any time. And for the Three of Pentacles to be reversed, if it were upright, I would say this is something that you really need to work on with other people. But what I'm getting with this Devil is that perhaps solitude is something that your inner child is hoping that you will take in a little while to offer you a little bit more introspection, because this is reversed. So it's signifying to me that working with others right now isn't what you need more of. What you need more of is working with your own self, doing inner work and doing light work. This is very emotional, but it's also very, I feel joy here. I feel like your inner child would like you to know that you deserve and you need more joy and warmth in your life right now, and you're worthy of it. And I think what they're really asking with this Three of Pentacles being reversed is for you to start trying to give yourself that love and that warmth before you start searching for it from other people. In terms of how you can show yourself more compassion, we have the Seven of Swords and Temperance, and I'm getting the same energy of the Seven of Swords as I am with this Devil. And I think your inner child is really asking you, for one, not to really hold on to like shame or guilt about this, but two, to put down these swords. Like I feel like there's a self-protection in this card that like I don't normally pick up on, but in this instance I'm really picking up on this desire to protect yourself. And I think here with Temperance, what your inner child is asking you to do in terms of showing yourself compassion is acknowledge the mistakes that you've made, but don't let them be your identity, for one. But for two, with this Temperance, I'm sensing the need to say, like, it's okay to take a few deep breaths and give yourself a hug. I don't know, it's very heavy. I feel as though you're being very hard on yourself, and you feel as though you've been maybe deceptive to others, or you've allowed others to deceive you, and now you're in this self-protective energy. But your inner child is asking you to be more in this heart space and less in this ego space, and really temper it down. With Temperance here, this is also a card of healing and of balance and getting your emotions back into balance. And it's obviously healthy and really vital for you to feel all of your feelings. But what I'm seeing with this is that it's also okay once you've felt those feelings and explored them and know where the source of those is, to let them go. Your feelings will never be your identity. Your identity truly is just love. It's just source. And I'm also sensing here forgiveness. Forgiveness is vital when it comes to a relationship with yourself. Forgiving yourself is vital. And you absolutely, I would never say like forgiving others. I'm not going to go there. That's your choice, and I'm not going to. But I do think it's vital to forgive yourself, and I think when it comes to showing yourself compassion, letting go of this Seven of Swords energy, whatever it is to you, is really important. And then in terms of how you can show others compassion, we have the Fool and Judgment. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think of the Fool and Judgment is the ability to apologize without excuses, the ability to apologize without buts, the ability to apologize and truly mean it. And that's very difficult for a lot of people. No one ever wants to admit when they're wrong. And I don't know if you've done anything here in which you need to, but I think maybe this is something that you have struggled with in the past, and your inner child is saying like, hey, like one thing you could work on in terms of how to show others compassion is to apologize without ego, even if you didn't intend on harming them. If harm was done, go for it. Go for it. And then with Death here, I feel like this is just, I think your inner child also wants you to know that they recognize that there is very profound and perhaps even scary energy right now for you. Like you might not be in the best of places. Like I'm feeling as though, I feel like I need to remind you, and I'm sure you already know, that healing is not linear. And while your inner child sees you as somebody who has reparented themselves and is really in this, really has a strong desire to heal, sometimes healing is not linear, and it's okay to fall back. It's okay to take a few steps back, or take a lot of steps back, and then catch back up, and start taking steps forward. Not everything happens overnight, and I think that's another reminder here in terms of compassion, is to remind yourself that healing isn't linear. And I think the most important thing to remind yourself of is that you're human. You're human, and nobody's perfect, and you could very well be much harder on yourself than what is actually called for. But your inner child sees you as somebody who is going through huge transformations, whether or not you feel it right now or not, whether or not you feel this transformation, or if you're just kind of like in a lower energy or a sadder energy right now. Your inner child wants to let you know that they have seen profound changes in you in the past, and they continue to see you change now. And as I said in the beginning, they want to thank you for the work that you've done. And honestly, I feel like your inner child wants to give you a hug now and hold you for whatever it is that you're going through right now. This was very heavy. Oh my gosh. This was not like pile 1, but this was still a beautiful reading to do, and I'm thankful that I was given the opportunity to. If this resonated with you, pile 2, I would love to hear more about it. If you feel comfortable in doing so, in the comments section down below. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, please feel free to email me at the email address I have provided in the description box. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to read for you, and please don't forget to subscribe so that I will have the opportunity to do more videos for you in the future. Bye! Hello, pile 3. So today we are asking your inner child how they see you and what messages that they have for you. So the way that I'm going to do this is I've flipped over the oracle cards that you picked. These oracle cards represent how your inner child sees you as an adult. And I'm also going to pull tarot. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle those right now. And essentially what I'm going to do with the tarot is we're going to ask what it is that your inner child thinks that you need to let go of, or what you need less of in your life. We're also going to ask what they think you need more of in your life, how you can be more compassionate to yourself, as well as how you can be more compassionate to others. So let's just get right on into it. What does pile 3 need less of? What does their inner child think they need less of? Okay, we have the 4 of Cups. What do they need more of? The King of Wands. How can they show themselves more compassion? We have the Sun. How can they show others compassion? We have Justice. Okay, why is the 4 of Cups here? We have the World. Why is the King of Wands here? We have the Knight of Wands. Why is the Sun here? Man, your cards are just flying out. We have the 5 of Pentacles. And Justice, we have the 3 of Cups. And on the back of the deck, we have the 2 of Swords. Interesting. Okay, just going to make sure all of this is in shot. Okay, and then for your oracle cards, you have Hedonist and the River. Okay, so let me go ahead and read to you what the light and shadow attributes of this are. So the light attributes of this are: inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in yourself. And the shadow attributes are: pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. So with Hedonist and the River here, pile 3, what I'm sensing is that your inner child sees you as somebody who is continuously transforming, who is continuously moving. You are not somebody who has stagnant energy. You are somebody who has a growth mindset, and you are somebody who is very accepting of your past and your present. You are somebody who has done a lot of inner work, and somebody who likes what they see in the mirror. And that might not necessarily be literally, but they see you loving yourself, or at least trying to love yourself, which is an act of love in and of itself. And with Hedonist here, I'm really getting the sense that your inner child is really highlighting this gift you have of play, which is very difficult for many adults. In order to, I feel like when childhood is gone, for a lot of people, play is something that no longer comes naturally to them, although it's profound soul work. And your inner child sees that you are somebody who is still very playful. And I would say somebody who's still very in touch with their inner child, with the Sun here. It's lovely energy. It's lighthearted energy. It's warm. It feels warm. They feel warm toward you. They feel, your inner child looks at you and knows they're safe. Okay, so what is it that your inner child thinks that you need less of or to let go of in your life? So we have the 4 of Cups and the World. Okay. The Four of Cups often talks about apathy. And in this image in particular, the person that's sitting here is being offered a cup. Her arms are crossed, or their arms are crossed, and they're not interested in what's being offered. And the world signifies cycles coming to an end, but cycles in the sense of on a soul level, on an evolutionary level, not just small types of cycles. We're talking really profound cycles, beginning and ending. And what I think is interesting is that with the river here, this is all about cycles. This is all about transformation. And I'm kind of getting the feeling here that in all of this transformation, in all of this wonderful, powerful energy that your inner child sees in you, I don't think that you understand the power behind it or the gift that you have in going with the flow. I'm kind of getting this feeling with this Four of Cups as though there is a longing outside of yourself, and perhaps that's even why there are so many transformations, is because there's just like this void that is being attempted to be filled. And honestly, with the world here too, it could also be travel, like filling a void with really big changes. And this isn't necessarily, I'm not seeing the devil here. It's not the Four of Cups and the devil. This isn't something that's like self-harm or substance abuse or something really low vibrational. I just think that your inner child is saying that you need to let go of this idea that you're not working miracles every day, like that you're not making miracles in your life, that you're not as powerful as you actually are. Because this river energy is actually profound and beautiful, and many people aspire to this and they never will reach it in their lifetime, this ability to flow. And then what you need more of, we have the King of Wands and the Knight of Wands. And wands are very fiery energy. It's very passionate energy. It's very action-oriented energy. And the King and the Queen of Wands are very much manifestors. They're very, very much aware of their power, and they're not really run by their emotions or their thoughts. They're more run by their desires, but they're not even run by it, because they know that they are going to get what it is that they want. It's already theirs. So they sit on their thrones knowing that it's on their way. And then we have the Knight of Wands here as well. This is such a fast action, fast oriented card, very fiery and fast. And what I'm getting from this is in terms of what it is that you need more of in your life, I would say perhaps, passion. You need more passion in your life. You need more passion, and you need more understanding of your power. And I'm getting that here. Letting go of this inability to see it and stepping into it. And not feeling so apathetic, so I was able to do this transformation, so what? Because it's actually it's really, really wonderful. I don't know how else to explain it. It's beautiful energy to be able to let things go and be reflective and be self-loving. It's profound. It's powerful. I feel like your inner child wants you to see this. I'm sorry I keep repeating it. Okay. And then we have passion here. So I feel like, with hedonist, you're creative, but, with this shadow attribute, pursuing pleasure to the detriment of health, or indulging in the expense of others. This could be another thing that I'm seeing here, is that you need to really let go, or you need to lessen this habit that you have of using others perhaps, and it might not be in like a really, really awful way, but it's not in a way in which you feel good about yourself afterwards. This is very specific, and I'm getting very distracted. I'm trying to to focus on this, and I keep coming back to this because it's just like, it feels like kind of like an anomaly, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around it and make sure that I get every interpretation that I can, just in case I'm missing something, because it feels important. This is what needs to be let go of. But I'm hoping that with what I've said, you know yourself what it is that you need to let go of based on what I've said. And if there's something else that I've missed, I would love to hear what it is in the comment section. But anyway, getting back to this. So the hedonist talks about creative energy, and I think that what you need more of is this positive creative energy, whether that is through art of some kind, or expression through words, or creating your own YouTube channel, or starting some sort of social media platform, something in which you are expressing yourself and really honing in on your passions in a creative way, is something that your inner child is saying would do you wonders. Like, it goes beyond just play. It's play, but for like grown-ups. You know, it's play that lights your soul on fire. And your inner child is saying you need more of this. And then in terms of how you can show your self-compassion, we have the sun, and this is totally inner child energy. The sun is all about inner child healing and warmth and love and all of those innocent, pure feelings that you have as a child that a lot of the times we lose into adulthood when hurts start happening. And what I'm seeing here with the Five of Pentacles, and I'm picking up a very specific message with the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles in this instance is really giving me this feeling of rejection. It's really giving me this feeling of like, perhaps this is something that you really don't like, that you try to avoid in a lot of ways. And I hate rejection. I think most people do, but for some people it's really, really bad. But what I'm getting from this is that in terms of ways in which you can start showing yourself compassion is when you start to feel this like being left out in the cold. Really get in touch with this inner child, with this warmth, with this ability to even, okay, and I just came up, like, in my head, what I just heard was loving kindness, like practicing loving kindness. So I would suggest, in terms of your own compassion, how to show your self-compassion would be to maybe look into loving kindness meditation if you don't know what that is, and giving it to yourself, and also dispersing it out into the world in which maybe you've been rejected in the past. Because 9 times out of 10, I would say even more so than that, rejection really doesn't have anything to do with you. And it's not even actually rejection, it's just something else is going on that has nothing to do with you, but it still feels shitty. And if you can start showing your self-compassion in that sense, and also start seeing those who have rejected you or abandoned you in some sort of way, in a more human form, I think that would really help you in terms of your own compassion. And I am not in any way talking about people who have been abusive or who have severely wronged you, and I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm just talking about just day-to-day things. And I think that obviously, in terms of forgiving or anything that has to do with your healing, you're the master of it, and you get to decide, and you know what's right. Nobody else does. But what your inner child would like to show you is that you have this ability to give yourself loving kindness and others, and it will really warm your heart. Then when it comes to how you can show others compassion, we have Justice and the Three of Cups. And what I'm getting from this is that your inner child is really asking you to take a light-hearted approach toward others. And honestly, this is something that I'm going to hear as well and take to heart as well. I think that you have the ability, you have excellent judgment for this Justice card to be here in terms of character, or in terms of what it is that you're worth in terms of treatment, how you're being treated, things like that. And with the Three of Cups to be right underneath it, I think your inner child is asking you to start taking yourself a little bit less seriously, not in terms of like how people treat you and like what your worth is, but rather than like, if in the past people have treated you in a way in which you didn't like say they didn't text you back for like 3 days and it really upsets you. I think if this was something that like really, really upset you, and then you just like kind of tore that person apart afterwards, you know, your feelings were valid, you were really angry, but I bet neither one of you felt very good after it. And I think that what is being indicated here is that you can have somebody, you can know that somebody has wronged you and you don't want them in your life anymore without it completely destroying your own peace of mind, and without you tearing that other person apart. You can create healthy boundaries in a healthy, loving, compassionate way, even if that boundary means never talking to them again. I hope that made sense. I feel like my medicine to help me focus for my ADHD has worn off. And then we have the Two of Swords, which is very interesting. And honestly, what I'm getting from this is it's more, I feel like this Two of Swords is really amplifying the River. And another thing that the River indicates is practicing non-judgment. And I think that your inner child is really acknowledging that you, when it comes to your relationship with yourself, are very capable of practicing non-judgment, and you are very loving towards yourself. And your inner child really wants to thank you for that, because you are your inner child. And it's very lovely to be able to look at yourself and not say this is a good quality and this is a bad quality, but it just, especially in terms of feelings. And I think that this can also be said in this Justice and this Three of Cups. Start practicing non-judgment around other people as well, and see if your compassion for others increases. But I think that this Two of Swords is really indicating an energy of non-judgment in terms of how they see you approaching the world, and it's very lovely. But pile 3, that's what I'm seeing for you. If it resonated, I would love to hear about it if you feel comfortable in the comment section down below. I loved reading for you today. I'm so thankful that you gave me the opportunity to, oh my gosh. I'm so thankful that you gave me the opportunity to read for you, and I would love it if you liked and subscribed to my channel so that I'll have the opportunity to continue doing readings for you like this in the future. And thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Bye! Hi Pile 4. So today we are asking your inner child how they see you and what messages they have for you. So how it's going to work today is I'm going to use the oracle cards that you picked to indicate how your inner child sees you, and then I'm going to go ahead and shuffle tarot, and we're going to ask the questions, what is it that your inner child thinks that you need less of or you need to let go of in your life, what it is that your inner child thinks that you need more of in your life, how your inner child feels you can be more compassionate to yourself, as well as how your inner child feels as though you can be more compassionate to others. Okay, so let's go ahead and get on into it. So in terms of what it is that you need less of in your life, we have the King of Cups. What do they need more of in their life? Okay, we have the Tower and the Ace of Cups. How can they show themselves more compassion? We have the Eight of Pentacles. And how can they show others more compassion? We have Judgment. Why is the King of Cups here? We have the Three of Wands. Why is the Eight of Pentacles here? Why is the Eight of Pentacles here? We have the Page of Cups. And why is Judgment here? Why is Judgment here? Okay, and we have the Two of Cups. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Swords. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Let me just make sure everything's in shot. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with your oracle cards. So I'm going to go ahead and read the light attributes and the shadow attributes. Oh, and you got God as one and the shaman as your other one. So the light attributes of God are benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. And the shadow attributes are despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. And you also got the shaman. So in terms of how your inner child sees you, I would say that your inner child is very, very, very proud of you. With the shaman here, what I feel is that you have done such an immense amount of healing that it goes beyond just yourself. I feel as though you have expanded on healing to make it ancestral healing and cultural healing. And this is something that your inner child is immensely proud of. And in terms of ancestral healing or in generational healing, generational trauma, your inner child, obviously, I'm not going to go into detail because it's not my place, but obviously you experienced this type of trauma in your childhood. Otherwise, the intergenerational and ancestral and cultural part of it would not be so significant in how your inner child views you. And not only that, but I also see with the shaman that your inner child sees you as somebody who is very slow moving, I guess. Like you might be very high energy, but in terms of healing or personal development or knowledge acquisition in any sort of way like that, you don't rush things. You take the time to master yourself, your healing, your studies, whatever it is that you deem important, you take the time to master it. And another thing that I'm seeing here is that there's like some psychic energy here as well that your inner child is acknowledging. And then with God here, you know, I think that they see you as somebody who, despite whatever it is that you have gone through in your past, in your childhood, you are somebody who is incredibly compassionate and loving and kind and gentle and just a light in the world to others. And not only are you a light in the world to others, but you see the light in others as well, in every single person. I feel as though your inner child really wants to acknowledge the fact that you are capable of seeing source, of seeing God, and of seeing love in every single person you interact with, including your inner child, which is just, it's very lovely, beautiful, powerful, wonderful energy to be in. And then in terms, okay, so then we have, for the tarot, we have, this is what your inner child feels as though you need to let go of or you need less of in your life. And we have the King of Cups and the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands is a very expansive energy, but at the same time, it's a very it's an energy of waiting. And I'm like really picking up on this feeling as though you are waiting for something, or you feel as though there is something beyond the present right now in which you are waiting for. And, you know, with this King of Cups here, I feel as though you feel like whatever it is that you're waiting for, if you could just have it, this would bring you such emotional fulfillment. And the King of Cups is a very intuitive and psychic card as well, which hones in on, which also touches base, which also touches on, oh my gosh, on the psychic abilities that I was talking about in this shaman. And I don't think that your inner child is saying you need to cut ties with that. That's a gift, and you should absolutely expand on that. But I really am feeling this sense of, I feel called to let you know that there is nothing outside of yourself that you need to wait on. If there's something that is really bothering you, or if there's something in your life that you really want changed, by all means, like, take those steps to change it. But in terms of waiting and like looking on the horizons for whatever void it is, or for whatever change it is that you're needing, your inner child is asking you to stop with the waiting for anything outside of yourself, whether that's a job, or a partner, or money. And obviously those things are very, very important. And I don't think that your inner child is dismissing that. I think that they're asking you to just be present, because waiting and constantly thinking about it, or worrying about it, or trying to come up with a new plan might not necessarily be beneficial, especially if nothing's changing. It might be time to take a step back, take some deep breaths, and just remain in the present for the time being. And then in terms of what you need more of, this is so interesting. Because, okay, so like, also what I'm seeing with this King of Cups is somebody, like, the water here, you know, water represents emotions. And if you look at this card, the water is like very rocky and shaky, right? And like, it's like, emotionally, there's powerful emotions here. There's deep emotions here. And for it to be so rocky and shaky makes me personally feel like in this image, the king is really ruled by his emotions, but also kind of distressed over it, right? But then like, you look at him and he's like completely composed. Like, it's like he's trying to maintain control rather than flow with it. And then we have the Ace of Cups, another water card, and then this is incredibly emotional too. This cup is overflowing with water. You know, this is a flood of emotions. And for the Tower to be right over it, what this is indicating to me is that your inner child is telling you that what you need more of is less control. Like, it's okay to not always have composure. It's okay to feel this flood of emotions when you need to. It's okay to not have a plan, or to not have your plan work out. It's okay to throw a tantrum if you need to, even, you know, talking about inner child healing and inner child messages. Sometimes you need to have a tantrum, and, you know, this tantrum doesn't need to harm yourself or others, but sometimes it's okay to be pissed off. Or it's okay to cry and release those feelings, whatever it may be. Maybe it's not even like, maybe they're not even negative feelings. The Tower, I think, is something that a lot of people fear because it looks like such a terrifying image. And, you know, really all the Tower is doing is clearing out what is no longer necessary, right? But people always want control, and when the Tower shows up, it means that they don't have control. But honestly, how much control did you really have in the first place? And of course, we have the law of attraction, and we are the masters of our universe. But we also, in that ability to manifest what it is that we want, we also need to flow. We need to be. We need to let ourselves be without judgment, without, trying to paint a pretty picture of or trying to always keep composure, or trying to always manipulate our surroundings. That doesn't need to happen. We can let go of our perception of control. And that's what your inner child would like, is for you to practice a little bit of flow and a little bit of emotional release. You need more of that. And then in terms of how you can show yourself more compassion, for the Eight of Pentacles to be here, Pentacles is all about work and money and the material world, right? And this person is sitting at a desk working really hard. But then the Page of Cups here is a much more innocent, naive type of energy, and it's the youngest of the suits. Like, we have pages, then knights, then queens, then kings. So pages, cups in general represent emotions and heart space. And so what I'm seeing with this is that in terms of showing yourself compassion, it might be really beneficial for you to take a more youthful approach, especially in the material world, especially when it comes to the things that you really, really want materially, as well as in like your career or even in your creative endeavors, because this also is giving me like creative energy. And a true artist lets themselves lose control, lets themselves lose sight of themselves, lets themselves become one with all that is. And it doesn't need to be taken so seriously. Another thing that I'm seeing with this Page of Cups is the pages are all about apologies and offering things. And this is how you can show yourself compassion. I feel like if there's anything that you are beating yourself up on now or in the future, your inner child is asking you to show yourself the same compassion you would show a dear friend, or you would show a child who made a mistake, and forgive. And then over here for how you can, oh my gosh, I just literally just zoned out in the middle of this video. Oh my God. So in terms of how you can show other people compassion, we have Judgment and the Two of Cups. And what I'm seeing here is that for one, it might not necessarily be so it might not necessarily be the end all be all. What might not necessarily? Cutting people off, or ending relationships, or severing relationships, or taking offense to lots of different things might not necessarily be the end all be all of your own self-respect and the only way you can go about showing yourself that you have self-respect. With Two of Cups here, I think one thing that's really indicated here, and honestly, like if we're looking, and I'm going to touch on this because I think we all have our light and our shadow, and even the shaman has their shadow, and the shadow for God is using power to control people. And I'm seeing like this need to control, I'm seeing a need to control here. And the Two of Cups is all about compromise and meeting people where they are, and it's union energy. And I think your inner child is wanting you to really what was I gonna say? I keep getting distracted. Why is this last little row is so distracting? They want you to compromise, yes, but that's not what I was gonna say. Start looking at yourself and start asking yourself if things always need to be your way or the highway. And if there is any sort of conflict, or if there is an issue in which somebody else wants to do something that is a little bit different than how you would like to do it, in any sense. I don't know, this is very general because this is just compassion in general to everybody in your life. I think your inner child really wants you to start practicing the art of compromise and the art of meeting people halfway, or giving more, meeting people even more than halfway if they can't come all the way to you, as a form of compassion, but only if it honestly doesn't jeopardize who you truly are, and it doesn't actually ruin a relationship you have with your highest self, obviously. And the Five of Swords here, again, this I think is another shadow attribute, with this need to control, with this need to come out on top. And of course, like, it's human, and like we're alive for a reason, and the reason is to experience everything it is that we want to experience. So of course you have hopes and desires, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's very human, and life is meant to be enjoyed, so you should have hopes and desires. But I think your inner child is again indicating that control, needing things to go exactly how you want, in order to feel safe, is not in your best interest, or anyone's best interest, really. The shaman in its highest self would not need to control. And I think also your inner child is asking you to get in touch with your inner child. Because your inner child can really show you the joy of just kind of free flowing, I guess. But pile 4, this is what I'm seeing for you. If it resonated, I would love to hear about how it resonated, or if there was something that I missed that like I almost touched on and I didn't. I would love to hear your interpretation of it in the comment section down below. I'm so thankful that I was given this opportunity to do a reading for you today, and I really hope that you will subscribe to my channel so that I will have more chances to do videos for you again in the future. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Bye!